There we go. All right, here we are. Let me mute that so I'm not hearing myself on YouTube. Good, there we go. And welcome aboard, folks. Welcome to another episode of Armed Lutheran Radio, a show about guns, hunting, competitive shooting, the natural right of self-defense, and what God's word says about the issues surrounding gun rights and gun ownership. I am your host, Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran, and welcome to the 400th episode extravaganza with members of the Reformation Gun Club and members of the cast. As I said, welcome aboard. I'm your host. Glad to have you here. Hope you will stick around for the rest of the show. Hope you will check out for those of you who are new, check out the back catalog, the other 399 episodes that we have in the bank, and come back for more next week. 400 episodes is quite a milestone. I mean, I have friends like Bob Main and Paul Lathrop who have far more episodes than I, but 400 is a pretty nice milestone. It means, I mean, it's amazing to think that when we started at the end of 3 weeks, I think, into January of 2016, that we would still be here in 2024 is pretty amazing thing. So thank you to all of you, the listeners. Thank you to the early supporters of the show, Bob Cook from Cook's Holsters, Cassie Coburn at G4G Guns, Salina Gun Shop, and others who sponsored the show early on and helped us kind of get on our feet. Thank you to the awesome members of the Reformation Gun Club, some of whom you're going to see and hear from tonight, who have carried us along since then and continue to support the show. Thank you to all the guests who have been on the show over the years. Awesome people like the aforementioned Bob Main, Paul Lathrop, Cheryl Todd, Evan Gegline, Ralph Abernathy, Gavin Mize, Brian Wolfmiller, and lots of others, too many to name here. One of those guests, of course, was on, I think it was episode 28 or 29. She became a long-running member of the podcast. That would be Mia Anstein, of course. So that's a nice little segue into thanking all the members of the cast. Mia, Sergeant Bill, Pastor John Bennett, who will join us shortly. Thank you to everyone like Cheryl Todd, Mark Walters, and others who've had me, and Paul Lathrop, who've had me on the show, Bob Main, on their shows. Thank you to everyone at all the awesome people and my good friend Jim Restucci at Access Internet who've hosted the websites over the years. Thank you to the Self-Defense Radio Network, who have had us as one of the sort of founding members of the network since 2016. And thank you to, of course, to my family for putting up with all this nonsense, all this turning a bedroom into a studio stuff, and all the time that it takes to make this show happen. Thank you all again. I really do appreciate it. It is wonderful to be here for our 400th episode, and I'm really looking forward to 400 more. Hopefully, let's see. Let's get started. As I said, this is our monthly online hangout for the Reformation Gun Club for April 2024, in addition to episode 400. So I'm going to start bringing in members of the Reformation Gun Club who are waiting patiently to join in this insanity. Looky there, Jim Martin and friend.
Hello.
It is good to see you, sir.
Hello.
And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
You have lots of new news to share since you.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Hang on. We'll go around the room. You'll get to go first. I want to make sure we get everybody in here to see this.
Yeah.
Let's see. Donnie tonight only from Glasgow, Montana.
That's not true. I'm on my cell phone tonight because my computer's down.
Gotcha. All right. We got to change the caption there. And the pistol packing Padre is going to join us here. Once we get his microphone and his camera up and going, we'll get rolling. Hopefully. Here we go. There he is.
Hello, hello.
How are you, Pastor?
Um,
There's several of you who will answer that question, so I should be more
Tired.
specific.
I was chaperoning prom last night, so I got to bed about 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's it.
Oh my goodness.
My spot.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, since Jim has got the most new things to share with us of anyone,
That might not be true.
well, have a look at his at what he's got in his arms, and he's got some new exciting news that I saw posted on his Facebook page this week. Jim, kick us off here. I'm sure you don't have any.
I can only stay to do this, and then I got to get back off over to my family. But
Yep, I'm glad you made it.
Wednesday was call night at Fort Wayne, and I received my placement at Grace Lutheran Church in Clarksville, Tennessee, to be their new associate pastor.
Excellent.
And then the next day, my wife was induced, and here is Nathaniel, and he was born 8 o'clock the next night.
Yay!
Wow.
Congratulations.
Fantastic.
And there's Joseph.
Fantastic. Well, I am glad you took a moment to come and hang out for a few minutes and shared the good news with us.
And Emily popped in.
And Emily's here.
All right, that's enough. All right, and I got to go have dinner with the family, but have a wonderful 400th episode.
Thank you, sir. Great to see you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, Donnie. The challenge is on you now. What's your big
You got
news?
me?
Yep.
Okay, well, last Tuesday was vicar placement at Concordia, St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And we now have in our family a vicar-elect.
Nice.
Excellent.
And he may be on tonight, but in case he doesn't, he thinks he died and went to heaven because he got placed in Laurel, Montana, the state he was born in.
Excellent. Well, congratulations to him. If we don't see him and get to congratulate him in person, pass that along for us.
Yeah.
What are you drinking tonight? Anything?
Nothing. I just had dinner. I've had too many Bloody Marys the past couple of days. I've been buying a good Bloody Mary mix at Menards, if you know what Menards is.
Oh, okay.
It's the Midwest equivalent of Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can buy literally everything from Campbell's soup to bolts there.
All right. I need to bring one of those down here to Texas. All right, let's see. Curtis has not been with us in a while. How are you, sir? Uh-oh, and we can't hear you. Let's see. It does not say that you're muted. You may have an issue on your end. Okay, lip readers. All right, Curtis, I'm going to move to the next one. You work on that, and as soon as I can hear you, we'll come back to you. All right, Steve, how are you, sir?
Fantastic. Thank you.
And what are you drinking tonight?
Well, tonight is Maker's Mark.
Okay.
My wife. So
very good.
Yeah. Nothing too spectacular new. No epic gun trades this week.
That would be hard to top.
But I did actually, I got through my employer, we had these reward points where you could go on and get different things of merchandise, and I had quite a few points. So I discovered that I could trade my points in for gift cards to Sportsman's Warehouse.
Ooh.
So I turned that into $950 worth of gift cards and ended up with a Ruger Precision rimfire.
It wasn't a gun, but it's the next best thing. It's something you can buy a gun with.
And a Vortex scope. So I set that up to match the configuration of my SIG Cross. And so I can do some nice low budget training. And I had the girls out on the back porch this evening, and they were ringing some steel at about 25 yards and just giggling and having a great time doing it. So great way to introduce the next generation of shooter.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I am super jealous that you can shoot off of your back porch.
Yeah, I
That's
do.
cool.
I understand exactly how blessed I am to be able to do that. It's incredible.
Very cool. Hey, before we go around to the next, and no. Let's get caught up. I'll come back around. We'll do another round in a moment. Pastor G and your enormous beast of what? No,
And the lapdog.
he is huge.
Howdy. This is my puppy, Scout. He's a mere 18 months old, so he's,
Still growing.
What do you
Still
feed that
growing.
horse?
He said the vet said he's not going to get any taller, but from now on out, he's just going to start bulking up outwardly. So
Right.
He's going to grow like the rest of us men, just sideways.
that's right.
Right.
That's right. Anyway, so me and Maximilian are having our Bobo tea as tradition and our things here, and I'm working on nursing my shoulder. I got a rotary cuff repair done back in March 14th. So
Okay.
Those
after,
aren't
after our last
fun.
hangouts.
yeah.
I feel your pain. I've been there. It was about 12 years ago. I had the same.
Right. So about another 5 more months of recovery time, and I can get back to doing all the things I enjoy.
Gotcha. Well, put the kids to work, lifting all the heavy stuff and doing yard work and stuff.
That's right.
You've got 5 more months to use that as an excuse.
Exactly.
All right. Will, I know you're not you're drinking something non-alcoholic because you're sitting in your car as usual.
Well, we're not going anywhere for a little while, so I'm having some Irish coffee. So this is the 6th night where our church has gotten together for one form of potluck or another. So this is the end of the post-Easter week, based on the Eastern calendar, and so we've done potlucks every night except for Friday, which was our normal Friday. Well, I guess we did potlucks every night. So we met at different people's houses, and then Friday night was our normal Friday potluck and Bible study. And tonight we're at a friend's house just a few miles down the road. And another friend brought Irish cream, and so we're doing some very tasty. So water, and and my daughter made this little logo for my window washing business. So that's me.
I see the resemblance.
On my water bottle, and the Irish coffee, which is glorious. And this
Very
one's actually
nice.
like Irish cream from Ireland that a friend picked up.
So aside from expanding outward at potlucks with 6 potlucks in the last week, what else have you been doing since last we were together?
Oh, a lot of working. My kids are in track, and so we've had a couple of track meets, and I got stuck at the high jump event because I did it in high school years ago, so I sound like I know what I'm talking about. But I had never filled out the little form before. You get 3 jumps per height attempt, and so I had to Google that before starting. And no one
They
else
put you in charge
had
of
experience.
keeping the score, and you didn't know how to do it.
Well, all the parents had to sign up for an hour time slot, and so I had 10 to 11, 11 to 12, and nobody else had done it before either. And I spent some time researching it, so I was there all day. Got a nice little sunburn that I was still feeling from yesterday.
Nice.
So it's a good day. So I've been to a couple track meets, and sadly no shooting, because the shooting I normally do with IDPA on the fourth Saturday of the month was same day as the track meet. So
Gotcha.
getting kind of itchy because I've missed it since November till now. I did the one in November, I threw it back out in December. They canceled January. February, I don't even know what happened. We think we're out of town. March, we had a track meet, and then now we had a track meet as well. So for April. So we're getting desperate to the point where a couple buddies of mine and I are going to drive to the next nearest one on a different Saturday that actually works. And I think the next nearest one is like 2.5 hours away. So, which isn't bad, all things considered, but we're getting kind of itchy finger.
Gotcha. If it's a good match, 2 hours is not a big deal.
We've never been to anyone but the local one. So we'll find out.
Speaking of itchy, it's been since COVID that I shot an IDPA match, so I have seriously got to get back out and shooting. Now that volleyball season is over, that should improve. All right, Curtis, have you got your audio issues squared away? I think maybe.
I think so.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
How you been?
Doing all right. Nothing special.
Well, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. What have you done since last we saw you? It's been
Yeah, I missed a couple of months. Yeah. Not much. I was out, took several handguns out to the farm before I got on the road this time and shot them out. So
nice.
That's about it. Getting through security on military bases, been hauling a lot of military loads. So
okay,
it's always fun. Other than that, just life on the road.
Life on the road. So as usual, you are not drinking and driving, and that is a good thing.
That is correct.
All right. Stuart is impeccably dressed. And I can't, oh, he's muted. Let me see if we can get you unmuted. I can't force an unmute, but I can ask you to unmute.
Is that a bow tie?
It is. He is sharp dressed man tonight. We can't.
Stuart, we can't hear you because you're muted.
Can't hear you.
Nope, not now.
Oh.
Stuart, I think it's on your side. You got to actually click on the microphone.
It's
so
on
tap your screen, and then you should see it in the bottom left.
I'm glad you know the phone interface, because I do not.
I'll take a quick screenshot. Let's see. Okay. Nope, Stuart, you're still muted.
All right. We'll come back around to you, Stuart, as soon as we hear you making noises. Well, now he's frozen. I think he's still in Europe.
Yeah, last post he had was he was still in Europe. Last Facebook post I saw of him.
Ah,
that's why he's better dressed.
That is, yes.
They don't tolerate the U.S. nonsense.
Isn't it like 3 a.m. over there?
Depends on where.
All right, let's get to the pastor. How are you? How's the ear?
It's still there. Still got fluid behind my ear. I've got a follow-up appointment with ear, nose, and throat, but who knows what happens? We'll see. I suspect I might have some permanent hearing loss, but I don't know. But no, doing pretty good. Like I said, I chaperoned prom last night. Got home at 3 a.m, got to bed by 4. Still not terribly thrilled about the idea of my 17-year-old daughter having a boyfriend, but what can you do? At least he's a really nice guy.
Better than a girlfriend.
Yeah. So I like to say that fathers of daughters spend a lot of time imagining all the painful ways they can dispatch a potential boyfriend from this world and then subsequently dispose of the body. But fortunately for her and for him, he's nice enough that I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, you do.
Just file that away in the back of your mind.
Yeah. As I like to say, we have plenty of space out here in rural Minnesota to hide a body.
You know that if there's a hog farm nearby, you've got nothing to worry about.
Oh yeah, we've got plenty of those. We've got plenty of those.
The beauty of 4-H, you learn all sorts of good stuff.
Oh, who knew 4-H could teach you about
You got to pull
disposing
the
of corpses?
teeth first and get rid of those because they can't extract the DNA from those, and the hogs don't fully digest them. So
I see some editing in Lloyd's future.
This is live.
Oh, shucks.
This is live, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
oh, I think I hear a knock at the door. That might be the FBI.
The FBI is here.
Yeah.
Of course,
All
I would be a target since, I'm not some pink-haired liberals.
That makes us all targets.
Yeah, if you're not on a list somewhere, you're not trying.
That's right. Either that or you have zero social media presence.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sounding better and better every day, actually.
It is.
Well, we kind of talked about that. We talked about that in episode 398, right? About maybe not having social media wouldn't be such a terrible
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
That actually, by the way, just as I edited up 398 a bit. For those of you who haven't heard the Reformation Gun Club version, the full version, you've probably heard it. For those of you who are not Reformation Gun Club members, shame on you. But there is a follow-up to episode 398 coming where all that extra content, the discussions about social media and disposing of bodies and stuff like that. That's all in coming in episode 401. That'll be next week. Let's go around the horn. I'll come back to you, Steve. The question that I was going to pose to everybody, and this may seem a little self-aggrandizing, but just your thoughts on, we're here at 400 episodes. It's kind of hard to believe that we got to this point after starting by myself basically in 2016 and then bringing on all these awesome people like the pastor. Your thoughts on the show and 400 episodes? What does that say to you or mean to you, or does it mean anything?
Well,
maybe
I mean, it's particularly cool for me because I had, I stumbled into the Lutheran Church after COVID. I knew nothing about, well, I knew something about it, but I didn't even understand the difference between the ELCA and the Missouri Synod. I had no idea until COVID hit. And that forced me to start looking into it because the church that I had been going to closed down with no end in sight, and they ended up staying closed for over a year. And so I ended up looking for a place for my family to be able to have an in-person worship service. And I found a congregation that said, okay, we're going to do all of the above. We're going to have, we'll do, the appointments, the social distancing, but we'll still offer live streaming for those who need that. And for the people that need communion, we're going to do that too. And I just was so impressed with the attitude and it started getting me into looking at the belief structure. And so I ended up becoming a Lutheran fairly quickly once I realized what it was. And then coming in and realizing that there is a Reformation Gun Club. Are you kidding me? I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the commentary. I enjoy the fact that a lot of the things that had been rolling around in my head, I get to see discussed and brought up and not in a shocking way and not in some weird way and realizing that, the things that I already believed, somebody else believes that too. Somebody else is on board with this, and somebody else understands that, the gifts of the Spirit can include the gift of being a sheepdog and being your brother's keeper and using those talents and skills that are God-given for the right things and running into that with the Reformation Gun Club and this podcast has just been fantastic. I feel very comfortable and at home with this. So that's really what it all means to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we're awfully happy to have you here. Let's see. We still can't hear Stuart. Stuart is still muted. We do get to bask in the glory of his amazing outfit. That is really cool.
He is really dapper tonight.
He is super dapper.
Good job, Stuart. I know you can't talk to us, but
I
I'm
hope you can
assuming
hear
you
the
can hear
compliments.
us.
Is it in the phone settings maybe? Did he not give her permission for the audio in the phone settings?
Oh, that might be.
If he's using it on the phone then.
Yeah, check the permissions for the Zoom app on your. I assume you're using the Zoom app. Maybe not. Might be the website, but check the audio settings. The permissions might need to be adjusted. Will, same question for you, my friend.
Same question. Well, hold on a sec. I was trying to.
Oh, he's trying to. You're trying to.
I was trying to share a screenshot in the chat. I don't know if I can, but I was going to do that to see if we can get Stuart live. But that's all right. You know, the Reformation Gun Club name is what got me. So I stumbled upon your podcast a long time ago. Had been listening and kind of lurking in the background. We were, if you might recall, it was a November, probably 2020. Because we had been waylaid out in Spain earlier in the year for COVID, and we had received automatic extensions to the Schengen travel visa while we were stuck in Spain. We eventually made it out of Spain to France, and then France, we only had a certain amount of time there, so we ended up in the UK. We were in Edinburgh, Scotland in November when you were having the live Reformation Gun Club online hangout. And I had been working all day and was many hours ahead because I was in Europe, and had seen someone post something probably on Facebook, because that's where I was following you at the time, in the fans of Armed Lutheran Radio, and was able to join in on the chat, and discovered very quickly every time I sent a message, it said Facebook user. And so I kept commenting, and I was like, why does he keep saying Facebook user? And so I was like, William in Edinburgh. And
we saw that. We were like, William in Edinburgh? We got fans in Scotland?
Not Scottish, but Scottish. My family is Scottish, back from the 1400s, as far back as the records show. But they were all Catholic, and they were like, "Hey, John Knox is bringing this Reformation here. Let's go to Ireland and be Catholic over there." So that's the rest of my mom's side of the family. But it was the name that got me originally, and I was like, I was hooked at that point. So we had such a hard time finding a good church while we were traveling, and we tried. We always did research before we were going to a new area, and tried to hit as many live services as we could, and sometimes we just couldn't because places were closed. But even while we're traveling the year before, or a couple of years before that, when we were doing our year around the world, it was hard finding a good community. And so when we found, when I found your podcast and was listening to it, I was like, this is a nice, refreshing change of pace from some of the places that we'd been to, who clearly were leftists first and Christians way second or third or fourth. It was quite refreshing. But it was from that point on, I was like, all right, I'm joining. I'm going to ante up and be part of this thing, because it's good people. They got good theology, and they're just darn fun. So congratulations on 400 episodes. No, not at all. Congratulations on 400 plus episodes, because I know that there's midweek meditations, which were fun, by the way. If you guys ever feel like you have more time than you can,
I need to throw some more of those out there.
Feel free to do some more.
Yeah,
those are fun.
There's I want to say, now that I think about it, there's probably 21 or 22 of those out there. And yeah, I need to get back to doing some of that whenever in
all your spare time,
in all the vast spare time that I have. Ooh, Stuart's here again. So we have two Stuarts. We can bask in the freeze frame of Stuart's amazingness.
It's too bad the freeze frame wasn't on that bottle of whiskey.
There we go.
Seeing doubles.
Hey, Lloyd, can you hear me
sir.
now?
Oh, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Well, I probably figured it out, I think. Anyway, I'm in the Atlantic Ocean. It's midnight, and time changes again. And anyway, I'm drinking duty-free Glenmorangie, 16-year-old. It was like, what did it cost? 60 pounds. No, 60 euros. That's what the bottle costs. So I thought I'd tell you that real quick.
Nice.
It's like, yeah, I can't complain.
Well, you are very
Dinner was
dapperly
fantastic tonight.
dressed for being up very late.
Yeah, and tomorrow we have to wear tuxedos. Well, I don't have to, but I am anyway.
All
You
right.
get to wear a tuxedo.
Yeah. So, yeah. And
The fact that you
I haven't
either
done
have
any
one
shooting
or
because
merely
I've been
have
in
access
Europe.
to one is impressive.
I have, well, yeah, I actually have one. It's amazing. I haven't done any shooting because I've been in Europe since the 5th of April.
Nice.
And I could have gone shooting in Czechia, but why spend money on something that I can do at home? But
I got you. Yeah.
yeah.
It would be interesting to see how how they do the gun club thing and
Yeah.
shooting ranges. But so where all have you been?
I didn't think about that way. I've been to Prague for 5 days, and then I was in Budapest for 5 days, Munich for 2 nights, and Paris for 1, Cannes, France for 6 nights. Went to the D-Day Normandy landing beaches, and the American Cemetery out of Omaha, where 10,000 soldiers were buried. And that was, by the end of that, I had a drink. And anyway, that's another story. By the way, do you want espresso or do you want wine? It's about the same price in France.
Oh,
they're both, espresso in the morning is fine. Wine the rest of the time is okay. But England, very expensive.
So you're out in the Atlantic. Are you sailing home?
I'm sailing home on the Queen Mary 2. So if you hear about hearing an iceberg, there I am.
Oh no. All right. Well, we'll be praying for clear seas and no icebergs.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So you get the 2-in-1. Your thoughts on the fact that we're doing 400 episodes of this nonsense?
It's not nonsense. I blame it on John Bennett. Because he turned me on to you. I think it was episode 5 when he told me on, and then I caught up. I've been listening to you ever since. I have no life. By the way, last month we had a conversation. I can't remember who it was with, and then I started thinking afterwards. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's late. I'm glad you had it at 6 o'clock Central Time this time. Because
I decided to schedule it for the time that the podcast normally releases. So I figured 6 o'clock. I didn't anticipate that you'd be out in the middle of the Atlantic, but maybe there was some mental telepathy thing going on there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time and staying up so late.
Yeah. Time changes tonight. So
Curtis
travels back.
Yes, absolutely. Curtis, your thoughts on 400 episodes?
Well,
it's great.
I don't think I've seen all 400, but because I don't know, I think I've been here maybe a little less than 2 years because I joined once and renewed once. But I enjoy the fellowship, meeting people, seeing what they do. Actually, I was through Sheridan, Wyoming a few weeks back, but I think I was too early to stop by and see Scott at his shop. But that's kind of what I like is, if I ever get around to the right place at the right time, which is a big chance, then stop and see somebody, So I enjoy the books. I enjoy the fellowship. Go for 800.
Awesome. Well, next time you're cruising through North Texas, drop me a line. I'll buy you dinner.
I might try that. I do get in and out of Texas quite a bit. I haul out of LaPorte,
Okay.
The isotainer's in and out of there, and then I picked up here in Fort Worth and hauled a military load over to Florida. So that's where I'm sitting for the weekend. We'll see where I go tomorrow.
Well, very good. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the support over the years. I really appreciate it. Donnie, now you get the question. What's 400? What's it been like, and what does it mean to you?
Just you hearing me still?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. It's been very, very interesting. It should make me want to shoot more, which I do. But
out of anger, or
I will tell you that when we go to my mother's memorial service in June, there's a reason why I'm driving instead of flying. It's because I have some items I need that they won't let you bring on the airplane. I have 1,000 small pistol primers waiting for me. I bought in March.
Small fortune.
Yeah, they were about $60, I think. So they weren't as bad as I saw them at Bass Pro in St. Louis last Sunday, but they were twice as much there. And I got to refresh my whiskey stop from Glacier Brewery. So we need to, not Glacier Brewery, but Glacier Distillery. So we need to do that. But my gun story, quick gun story for today. They announced Peter was coming up and he wasn't looking very good. And they go, St. John Lutheran Church, Evangelical Lutheran Church, Laurel, Montana, which is in the Billings area. And he just turned and smiled. But then he got to shake hands with the officials, including President Harrison. And President Harrison goes, "Hope you have a rifle, son." And his answer was several. But it's been good getting to meet you guys and seeing diversity and stuff. I was hoping to run into Rob when I was there, but I didn't see him. But it was an enlightening experience, and there also. But we're gonna have more than just one trip to Montana this summer. He starts in August, so. But great to meet all you guys. I've met the pistol packing Padre in person there a couple of times, and may try and work out in July to maybe see if he's around and go see him, listen to him preach again. So that's been
Let
good.
me know when you're coming, and I'll get some steaks thought out for you.
That sounds good. I need to get Vicar-elect here. He's got 3 more weeks of classes. And that was high on his list. He doesn't start till August 11th. So he's got kind of a long one, but we'll share some other news about that when we get down there. I will tell everybody here that it's very interesting because there's a lady in my church, and she was at her husband's first church. She's very much older. First church was where my older son went to when he lived in Hamilton, Montana. And last night I talked to her, and she says, my husband was pastor at St. John for 7 years. So she's got a tie to both of the churches, and he is just super pumped because he got what he wanted.
Very cool. Well, congratulations to him again, and let him know from all of us.
And congratulations to you guys too for putting this on.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your support and sticking around and staying up late with us for some of our meetings and hanging out. We really do appreciate having you here. Pastor G, you're next. Same question for you. We'll save John for last.
Well,
Best for last.
400 episodes. Probably the sum of how I kind of feel about it is kind of the introduction of the podcast, which is I feel strangely comforted that somewhere in the world there's a podcast called The Armed Lutheran.
Yep. That was I had Pastor Wolfmiller on the show first year or second year. I think it was the first, like episode 17.
Yeah.
And then I listened to what was the name of that?
Table Talk Radio
with Evan Gegline, and he was talking about it one day, and I was like, I have got to record that little clip and use it. That was so cool.
But yeah, I guess I found it on Facebook. One of my pastor friends, or maybe one of my other Lutheran friends on Facebook, posted. I'm like, what on earth is this? So, so I went and found it on Spotify, and then my daughter and I we're in Civil Air Patrol, and we have a half an hour drive to and from our meeting, and so sometimes I just get tired of Mark Levin, so I'd put a Armed Lutheran Radio on there and get to indoctrinate her on the Second Amendment.
Very good.
So but she's really enjoyed it so much. She wanted to like download all the past episodes and then listen to them all.
She's a super fan.
12-hour car drives to Louisiana. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. And of course, when we get in the car, she's always, "Is there another episode up?" So let me check. And so
that is awesome.
It's been really helpful for her, I think, and of course, I always enjoy all that the episodes, particularly the what's the ones called where you have everybody on there, the Mia and
the variety show.
The variety shows, yeah. Of course, we always enjoy this, and she's always like, "When's the next online hangout?"
Well, all right. So let's pose that question to you then. Let's get the young person perspective here. What is it that you like about the show? Why do you keep? I mean, I know you were kind of forced to be listening to it in a 12-hour car ride one day, but
no, that was all her.
Oh, okay.
I chose that path.
You chose that.
I downloaded them all because I didn't have enough space on my phone.
Awesome.
He was only subjected to half-hour drives initially to and from Cap, but
I'm gonna have to send her some super fan gear. Okay, cool.
I just enjoy the commentary on everything. I particularly enjoy the Florida Man episodes or the Texas ones. Those are great.
We have got to do another Florida Man episode.
We could probably do a Florida Man episode every single week and not run out of content from now till when Jesus returns.
We probably could.
There's always some new Florida Man thing.
Yes. And I learned, interestingly, I don't know whether I think I've mentioned this before, but I learned that the reason that Florida Man is such a thing is because of the laws in Florida, the open records laws in Florida. All of that stuff just comes out. It's not that it doesn't happen everywhere else and that there aren't crazy people in every state. It's just that Florida allows all that stuff because of their laws. All of that information is public. And so you find out about all the crazies in Florida before you do the crazies in Minnesota or Montana or Missouri.
So what happens in Florida doesn't stay in Florida.
Never.
Apparently.
No. Never. By law, it's not allowed. Well, Pastor Bennett, you've been here since episode 5, and I will gladly admit that your addition to the show is the reason we're here at episode 400.
Well, thank you. I'm humbled by that.
I honestly believe that. I mean, your contribution to the show, your addition to the show. I love Bill. I love Mia. I loved Aaron. But when you joined the show in episode 5, it was like I recognized this is the way this show should be, right? When I had this idea to turn my blog into a podcast, and it was a terrible idea because I'm not somebody that, as you can see, I have a face for radio. I realized fairly quickly that me blabbering for an hour was probably not a recipe for 400 episode success. And when you came on, and then later, trying to remember, I think it was Bill and then Mia and then Aaron, or maybe Aaron before Mia, that's when, I mean, when you came on and I recognized we could do something a little bit different. And I want to thank you for sticking around and for really for making this show great.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It really has been a great outlet, and like you said, and I'm not tooting our horns here or anything, but you can find dozens and dozens of podcasts out there where it's just people BSing about gun-related issues, and a lot of those podcasts just simply don't last because there's only, I mean, you can BS with guys at the gun shop all day long and get the same kind of content.
Right.
But looking at it from a biblical perspective, I really think has been the meat and potatoes of this podcast. And it's almost like God's hand was in this, and I'm not saying that facetiously. The most ironic way that we were introduced, or the strange way in which we were introduced, and I don't know if everybody here knows the story.
Please enlighten us.
I was just
You can't.
putzing around on XD Talk web forum one day, and somebody had posted a gun review, and the URL said armedlutheran.us. I was like, I haven't heard of this before. And I click on it, and I'm on my phone, and it goes straight to a pornography website. So it's somehow somebody had hacked, and it was only for the mobile website, because not that I wanted to look at pornography. I could tell it was getting it was getting bounced around. The signal was whatever the terminology is, but I went on my laptop and it went to the Armed Lutheran website. So I see the contact information there. I send him a note that, hey, I just want to let you know that I think your website's been hacked. The mobile version is being forwarded to pornography, which you promptly fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially since you probably weren't getting royalties from that.
No.
So I started following you on
$100.
Yeah. I started following you on Facebook, and then one day out of the blue, I see some posts about, hey, I'm working on a project. Want to know if there's any Lutheran pastors who want to help out with this, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Were it not for pornography, I would have never probably heard about you.
I'll drink to that.
Oh gosh, that's horrible.
Oh, straight to the bottle for that one.
So yeah, it's been great. We used to do this every single week.
Yeah.
And there's times I kind of miss it, but I think that
was
content
so
in those
tough.
days, it was getting a little stale because we just basically just fisk really bad articles from liberal Christians who, and I think William was talking about this, that there's so many out there Christians who have their politics inform their religion rather than having their religion. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. Their religion is informed by their politics rather than having their politics be informed by their religion.
Right.
And it just seemed like we were rehashing stuff every single week. So when you came up with the
burned
changes,
through all the good content really quick.
Yeah.
Because I thought there was just going to be an endless well of that stuff, and there was enough that we could do Clinging to God and Guns every week. And then it came to a point where, and it's interesting too, if you notice, I kept a list. I think I have a Word doc on Dropbox that has all these links that I had collected. A lot of them are dead now. A lot of those articles and those anti-gun Christian groups, like what was it? What was old Shinky O'Toole's?
Oh yeah, that's right, Shinky O'Toole.
Shinky O'Toole Reverend, what is his name? Something Shank. He was an advisor to President Obama.
Yeah.
And he had a group that was devoted to gun control. And it, me either. And his group is gone completely. His website is no longer. I mean, it's just completely gone. A lot of these places were kind of flash in the pan, and they just didn't get any traction. And the pro gun movement kind of,
come on, get up.
They didn't succeed in destroying gun rights, so they just moved on to something else, I guess.
Right.
But you're right. After we had burned through so many episodes, fisking all of those articles and those videos and things, there came a point where they were all making the same arguments. They were all, and very few of them were actually making biblical arguments. It was simply a biblical or a Christian, so-called Christian website, but their argument was entirely a
social gospel, not biblical gospel.
A social gospel, yeah. It was all politics first and feelings first, and not actual, and just because it was on a Christian site, they thought it gave it more weight, apparently.
Yeah.
But it just,
Red Letter Christian was another one of those websites that was notoriously terrible. Yeah, and it almost seemed like all of these people writing these articles were getting their talking points from a central spot. You know, was there some organization, liberal Christian organization dedicated to gun control that they were all getting their talking points from? Because it sure seemed like it.
They completely stopped making the arguments from any sort of a biblical perspective at all. It's like they used we used those arguments, they weren't convincing, so let's try something else. And they stopped trying to interpret scripture in a way to support their arguments anymore. They just completely went political. And that to me is something, like you were saying, there's tons of websites out there or podcasts that do that. And that's part of what I wanted Armed Lutheran to be. Was I want it to be different. I wanted it to approach the issues from a biblical perspective, because there are so many other places that do it and analyze the politics, and they get into the weeds and they talk about the nitty gritties of the laws. I wanted to do the kind of thing that we do in the book, where we're analyzing things from that perspective, even if the argument, as a perfect example, Pastor G's argument in the book, one of the articles is about Psalm 144:1, right, Pastor? Where you see that verse, used so often by pro-gun groups to support the idea of armed self-defense and the Second Amendment. And I wanted, from our perspective, not just to be, okay, well, we're pro-gun Christians. I wanted to be honest in our assessment of the things that are presented in our podcast, in the book, instead of just always towing that, okay, pro 2A line. There are certain ways that the Bible is misused on the pro-gun side. And I thought that article, for example, is a perfect example, and excellently written, by the way. So thank you, Pastor Bennett, so much for everything, for saving me from porn and from okay, please, nobody clip that part of this and save it. Can't edit this, it's live. For saving me from that particular terrible hacking incident, let's say. And for your friendship over the years and all your contribution to the show. It's been fantastic.
Well, likewise. Thanks for having me, Alana. I really have enjoyed it.
At least saving some of your followers from that fate.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Lloyd and Pastor, congratulations. I've got to get going. Shalom to you all. It's lovely to see you again, and hope to see you guys next month.
Good to see you, Will. Thank you for being here. Well, we're about to wrap up anyway. We're coming up on the top of the hour.
Perfect.
And so that was good timing, William.
Huzzah.
Stay safe. Curtis, drive safely. Good to see you again, my friend. Stuart, safe travels.
Thank you. And I got to go too. It's late.
It is very late. No icebergs for you either. Keep an eye out. Make sure that you are the first on the lifeboats.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Steve,
See you next time, boys.
great to see you. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your support as well.
Hey,
Donnie, it's always great to see you. Thank you. And send our congratulations to your son. We are very happy for him and looking forward to seeing him again as well. So pass along our congratulations.
Will do.
Pastor G, good to see you. Thank
you.
you as always for your support. Thank you both. And I'll be sending you some swag. Some kid size swag.
5 foot.
All right, perfect. Pastor Bennett, great to see you again. Thank
Good
you
to see you
again,
as well.
and for all everything you've done over these 400 episodes to make all of this great, and continued improvement with the ear. We keep you in our prayers as your
Thanks. I
healing
appreciate
continues.
that.
And folks, thank you all so much for making Armed Lutheran Radio a part of your week and for your support. I hope you will join us again next week. Episode 401. It's the second part of our discussion and from episode 398, where we talked about the ladies from The View and their misuse of the 10 Commandments. But there was a lot of extraneous stuff that we got into that was really, I thought, really good conversation. And so it was, I put that together into another episode. So episode 401 coming next week with some really good stuff. So thank you all. Have a great night. And thank you all for watching and listening. Until next time, keep shooting, keep praying. We'll talk to you next time.
Excellent.
Blessings to you all.